Oh yeah, we are live. This your boy Big Manny coming from Beyond the Blur. So I'm doing a little research, and to all of those millennial kids who grew up and we were picked on for watching anime, we was looked at as goofy, we was looked at as nerds. They had a name for this, a broader term name for this. You remember this? They called you lame. Now, I'm not talking about the person that was running around acting like Naruto trying to run up the wall or go Super Saiyan 2 in the middle of A and B lunch. But I'm talking about the chill dude or the chill guy or gal in the back who simply just loved to draw, talked about Goku every once in a while, Toonami, those people. Remember them? Well, after doing a little bit of research, this is what I found. Check this out. I found that anime is now more popular than US sports, according to Game Rant. Is this not crazy to anybody else? So if you are a millennial, I want you to pat yourself on the back. If you was born from 83 all the way up to 95, pat yourself on the back, because this is the first time in history that you can't even go to a Chicago Comic-Con without buying the tickets. I put it like this. I used to be able to buy the tickets when I walked up. Now, if you don't purchase the tickets months in advance, it's a wrap. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that the industry is growing. I do love the fact that the industry is growing, but I feel like we should be setting some rules. I feel like millennials, we should set some rules for the newcomers that come in. When you come, and I'm just, if you got some rules, put it in the chat or put it in the comment section. But here's a couple of rules personally from me. If you're going to come to a Comic-Con, don't act holier than thou. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't act like you've been a comic fan. Don't act like you know everything about. It's okay to be entering into a new world for the first time. I think it's pretty dope. But one thing I don't like is when people swear up and down that they've been watching anime since forever. It's kind of whack. And to that I say, I call that lame. Everybody got to have a lane, and it seems like the new lane is anime. So I want to welcome everybody. But for my brothers and sisters that's been rocking out with this for a very long time, I just want to give you guys a round of applause. Now, with that being said, let's see what this article has to say. It is no secret that anime is more popular than ever, growing exponentially in the US and all around the world. Most popular anime can be found on Netflix and Crunchyroll. Remember how we used to have to watch anime? Think about this. Cartoon Network goes off. What's the first thing you do? You sit tight because you knew Toonami Time was getting ready to deliver bombs. Whether it was Gundam Wing, the Big O, Ghost in the Shell. Notice how I haven't said Dragon Ball yet. We could go on and on. Inuyasha, my favorite. Yu Yu Hakusho. We could go on and on and on. That's where most of us got our breakthrough when it came to anime. These new kids simply just get to go on Netflix and Crunchyroll. You had to be there to experience it. I mean, and it was no better feeling. No better feeling. In fact, there's whole threads on Reddit and everything else where people specifically will fall asleep watching the anime and be woken up by the ending credits. Now, unless you know that feeling, you can't claim anime. That's all I'm saying. You can't claim to be a part of the community. But that's me. You know, welcome. But you can't say you've been there since the inception. Now, They also say it is now one of the strongest soft power assets for Japan. It is increasingly popularity. Its increasing popularity also boosts other media, such as Japanese games, which are maybe in the process to becoming more widespread. This even causes some sort of generational conflict because old school anime fans grew up in an environment where the hobbies were seen as exotic and strange. Boom! Right there. Copy print this. Right here. I'm going to say that again. I'm just going to pause for a second to look at that because that's exactly what I was saying. Anime was like most animation, something for kids. And if you liked it, you were not a kid anymore. You were a geeky friend with peculiar hobbies. Remember that? Now we the OGs. And now we watching everybody trying to tell us. Like, this is crazy to me. This is crazy. It go on to say, but that's the past now. According to somebody I can't pronounce, anime is the new phase in the US. The company conducted a survey in 2022 in which 44% of Gen Z respondents ages 18 to 24 stated that they watched popular anime and they liked anime even more than major sports in the US, including football. Now, I'm one of the guys that did both. I played football. I was on varsity football my sophomore year, but I did both. A lot of people thought I was strange because I just didn't talk. I just wasn't like y'all. I liked anime and I played football. There was nobody on the football team that I could go to and talk to about anime. It just wasn't. Everybody was in their own world, going to house parties and everything else, but they was definitely not watching Toonami Time. It also seems to be that Gen Z sees it not only in the US, but in many countries around the world. This is crazy. Hey, this is crazy. Looking at the future, the anime industry expanded in a way has been able to provide seasonal titles for many different genres, from school life, dystopian sci-fi with unique stories. This also matches streaming services need to feed their audience with regular new content. So it's also a bit natural that the surge of streaming services boosted content like anime and drama. So with that being said, I had a conversation with some younger guys, and one guy who didn't watch anime was picking on the guy who did watch anime. And I stopped him for a second and I said, if you take any person in the room and out of the 1 out of the 10 people say that they watch anime, I'm willing to bet my money that the person that watches anime is probably smarter than everybody else. Think about it for a second. If you are a person who watches for character development, who watches for a character arc, who all of these different things that go into anime, I'm willing to bet that you are probably, by default, probably one of the smarter people in the room. And to be completely honest with you, you're probably one of the most creative people in the room if you watch anime. Once again, I'm just saying, I know some people gonna ride for me when I say it, and I know some people is gonna be like, you just talking to be talking. You talking to hear yourself talk. But if you really look at it, take everybody in the room at any given point. Start asking questions about Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Gundam Wing, The Big O, all of these things, Death Note. The more and more you have conversations with the people that actually watch anime in their past and even play video games, you will find that a lot of people are even mentally more stable. Like now, it's weird trying to find people who never watch anime get into anime. We've seen One Piece hop on Netflix. We've seen Death Note hop on Netflix. But you just cannot replace that feeling in the 90s of watching anime at its inception. And anime was around quite a bit longer than that. But when it got over to here, it actually hit the Black household. I don't know how that happened, but Even look at Kendrick Lamar. When he came on saying mustard, screaming. He even quoted to say, literally, he got that. He felt like he was going Super Saiyan. There's even a picture of Kendrick Lamar sitting on the couch. And for the people who don't watch anime, they probably just was like, why he got his feet on the couch? But we all know, if you watch Death Note, why this man was sitting on the couch like this.
We're so out of the way here, no one's going to give you a hard time about the way you sit.
I don't sit like this because I want to. I have to sit like this. You see, if I were to sit normally, my deductive skills would immediately be reduced by roughly 40%.
So for a person like Drake, who I love, obviously you can see in the background, I love, but now take the anime guy and people looking at Kendrick like he's a peculiar guy, his music is different, it makes sense. Connect the dots. He's always seemed to be 2 steps ahead. Why? Because he's an anime guy. Now, I could just be preaching to the choir, or I could be getting some snapping fingers right about now, but I'm just going to say, find a friend who watches anime, or find somebody that watches anime and make them a friend first. And then not only that, just ask them what their perspective of the world is. I'm willing to bet you that you got more people who are in anime, probably who's skipping over to the cryptocurrency universe a lot quicker than anybody else. Obviously, you got your financial people who want to make money. Yeah, that's them. But if you was to ask a lot of people who got into cryptocurrency, because we've seen we can easily adapt. I'm guaranteeing you that you'll watch and you'll see how more and more anime people say, oh, I've been in Bitcoin since 2008. That's just me. I could be talking, but that's me. But you tell me what you guys think, especially if you're a millennial. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to keep anybody out of the community or any of that. All I'm simply trying to say is, if you are a millennial,